Okay, thank you to accept the interview with us. First, I have one question. I read that a French singer produced your first album, Body Talk, and
No.
is it?
No. This was told to me today, and I'd like to see who this French person was. I'd like him to speak to me. I wrote Body Talk in 1980, October, November. It was produced with Imagination, myself, and Tony Swain and Steve Jolly in London. It had nothing to do with anyone from France.
Oh yeah.
The only thing we were signed to was Areola Records. So if this writer is saying that he wrote Body Talk, then it's plagiarism. So we may have to take him to court because he did not. Today I heard Traduction. So I don't know who he is. Let me know his name, and we will contact him.
Because in Wikipedia, I read that Gérard Lenormand was the producer.
It's a French singer.
French singer, yeah.
Can you write his name?
Of course, yes.
It's just
email
written,
him.
in fact, that he was the producer of your first album.
No.
That's it.
No,
But we were quite surprised because
No,
we
I don't
never
know
heard
who
of
he
it.
is.
It's a French singer who sang La Ballade des gens heureux.
No, he didn't
Doesn't mean
produce
anything for you,
anything.
no.
Okay.
He didn't produce
But
anything.
it's in a wiki on the web, It's just written that in fact
But we
he
need
was
to
just a
change.
producer.
We need to change
Yeah,
this.
of course.
So
Yeah.
how can we change this?
Everybody can. I think if you wanna, you're gonna wiki and you can change the
Submit his
information.
name and we'll change it.
Yeah.
Because this is not true. This is definitely not true.
Yeah, we were surprised. This is why he
He
asked the
didn't
question.
produce nothing.
Okay.
Sherlock, at all.
We can say that Imagination was the best electro-funk band ever.
Electro, sorry.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say electro. Electro is a term for the 21st century.
yeah.
I'd say we were more. Where we came from in London, we were jazz funk, Brit funk, soul. We crossed over, then we became popular. So it was more of that kind of situation. We were with the first track with Body Talk. It was slow, while everybody was up fast. So it was very different, drastically different. So we were very unusual with the look, with the sound, and lyrically. And I'd write all the lyrics. I was always a writer.
Yeah.
So people tried to write for me, but they didn't know what was in my mind. So I was writing along with my producers. So it was very tailor-made. If I work with my producer now and I write with him, now we will have the same feel. And we did. We did a track called Passion not too long ago, and the same thing happened. So it's a combination, of that. That made it unique.
Okay, but why did you choose this kind of music while you're a jazz singer now?
No. I've always been a singer.
Yeah.
And being a singer, I've always sang all different types and styles of music. But you've never heard me do this.
Yeah.
You've only heard Imagination. Jazz was always part of Imagination. If you listen to the chords of Body Talk, In and Out of Love, So Good, So Right, there are jazz intonations in the music. So this was just an extension. I decided a couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to go to the wonderful city of Rochefort, near La Rochelle, to do an album of my choice. And I did this album, Feel My Soul.
Yeah, with some soul.
Feel My Soul, the sensuality.
Sensuality.
And it was one of the most remarkable, treasurely experiences for me. Being in Rochefort, Francois Garcher, the engineer, was amazing. Cristal Productions, the whole family of Cristal, Eric Deberg, Michel Pilot, my co-producer, another who's also filming the whole thing was Stéphane Perolo. They really elevated me to such another level. It was something I wanted to do maybe 10 years ago, just after the 80s, after imagination was on their high, but I wasn't ready vocally, spiritually, or mature-wise to do it. And all these people helped the elements together, including Divaz, who was my co-producer engineer with me. They gave me such great support. And Rochefort, La Rochelle, Dr. Watson, John Watson, who was on keyboards, Stéphane Hareshi, Stéphane Houchard, amazing musicians. You know, it was a wonderful experience, and it took me to a different level. So people now phone me to do jazz shows. They phone me to do imagination shows. So I do both. And in the show, sometimes I will do, you know, two types of shows. So it's great, and I'm working with many different types of musicians. It's only now people say, oh, you do this, you do funk, you do reggae, you do, you know, and, you know, you have to see what we do. I think sometimes people think, oh, you're like Kudu the Gang, or you're like Boney M, or like, you know, I'm a bit of everything. That's how I've always been. It's just that how you are marketed and put out there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. What are the 80s for you? According to you, what is the difference in the 80s and today?
Wow. The today is... No, I'll go back to the 80s. The 80s, I can look back with great memories. It was a very... We were all thriving. We were all innovative. There was the beginning of sequences, computers, fashion. It was many styles of music. When we did a TV show, everyone had a different look. Nobody was the same. Everyone's music style was different. You know, no one was the same. Everyone, you knew it was this one. Oh, you knew it was that. You know, everyone was significantly different. And also, we had vinyl still, so you knew who played bass, who played drums, who sang background vocals, who produced, who arranged, who did the strings, who did the horns, who was the artist, who was the photographer, where the location was, where was the studio. There was so much information that, you know, you'd absorb organically. I'm not saying you can't do that now, but you can't in a sense, because in the 21st century people have things very quick, very fast. Yeah. So you see it, you look at it, you hear it, and it's gone. Yeah. You're not actually looking or trying to digest the content as much. Like, who actually is playing the bass? Who's playing the guitar? When they had CDs, you had to kill yourself. When you open the CD, before you cut your fingers, you know, you had to open the CD and you said, I need a microscope to see who did that. It was the CDs. Now you have to go online and Google if they have the information. Yeah. And sometimes, as we've just found out, information can be wrong. And you don't have the same connection sometimes. And everything is like they had London Fashion Week last week. I can either say I'm going to go or I'm not going to go. Before there was this glamour that you thought, oh wow, I'm going to go and I'm going to dress up to go. Some of it is still going on, but not everywhere. There is a lot of things creatively that help me in the business, like, you know, texting and emailing. You know, we can do things quickly, which is for the 21st century, which is great, because years ago, to get a show, they'd phone you and say, would you like to come? Yes, I'd like to come. We will send you a letter, a proposal. And we have to send a telegram, or, you know, to make it official. Nowadays,
telegram?
Exactly, or a fax,
Yeah.
But now you can do it. You know, I sometimes do a deal on my phone.
In one time.
Would you like to do da-da-da? Yeah. Send the details, sign it up. Boom. Yeah. On my PR. So you can do things a lot quicker. So there's a good and a bad. I don't know really many artists that I gravitate to as much as I did in the 80s or the 90s. Well, the 80s mainly. I listen to a lot of the older music because I kind of identify with it. I find with artists today, it's so quick. Yeah. Out of 20, there's probably one, I would say. I don't even know what's number one today. Normally I used to know what was in the chart. You know, you'd know at least 5 records. Now, I don't know. So they've taken away a lot of the programs. You used to have Hit Machine. We used to have Top of the Pops in America, in the UK. So it was these shows brought the family together. Everybody you'd watch them on Saturday in France. I would be on it. If I was on Top of the Pops, it'd be on a Thursday. The families would get together, and there was a great relationship. Now everybody's like this, so they're into that.
It's true.
Everybody's having sex with their mobile.
Yeah.
Or their computer.
They can't do without that.
That's it. Oh, I must have it.
Oh, yeah.
Where's my computer? Oh, my mobile.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, we're all back. You know, we are sexual perverts with our mobiles, and that we are. We're like, we're crazy with it. So that's the difference with the 21st century. That's why, for me, even now when I'm recording, I tend to still use a real guitar, a real bass, some realism, because the vocals obviously are real. But I tend, when I'm producing stuff, to have some sort of organicness. I'm involved in 3 to 4 different projects. I'm producing a film. It's called Flashback. I've been working on it for the last 3-4 years. It's the history of UK black music. It stems from the turn of the century till up to the 90s until now. So this is black British music, black musicians, or people who contributed to music of black origin in the UK. And, you know, we talk about jazz, we talk about reggae, we talk about lovers rock, we talk about funk, we talk about ska. We talk about a lot of stuff. We have artists, over 200 plus artists I've interviewed. We have 400 plus hours. We pray to launch it this year in America first, then Europe, and then the UK and Japan. So it's a very big project. It's an actual brand, because we're going to do a book. We're going to try and do a museum tour, a pictorial with pictures of the period. So we're very ambitious with it. So where I get the time, I don't know, because I'm doing it. And if you want to see the trailer, it's www.flashbackprojectuk.com. FLASH project project.com. Flashbackproject.com.
One word?
Yeah. And you can see the trailers, and it can tell you a little bit about the project. That's one of the projects I'm doing. I'm also involved with the British Collective. The British Collective is a combination of different R&B singers who have been in the business a long time and decided to get together to do an album. And you know, it's R&B with a bit of today's sense of music. And one of the main guys involved is Junior Giscombe. He's co-producing the whole project, along with a guy called Donny. Junior Giscombe had a hit with Mama Used to Say. Mama used to say, take your time, young man. That's him. And Donny, he had a big hit in England, and I think in America. And there's another guy called Noel McCoy. I don't know if you've heard him. He's sang on a lot of R&B records in the UK. And Omar, you've heard Omar? You know, there's nothing like this. Omar? Anyway, he's another R&B singer. So I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And then I'm working with Bill Sharp to do a jazz album for Japan. Bill Sharp is the keyboard player with the group Shack Attack.
Yeah.
So we had started this years ago, so we're finishing this off. Because I promised, he said, Lee, you've done this, you've not finished this, so I'm trying to finish that off.
Yeah.
And then lastly but least, I'm doing a very special Imagination featuring Leee John album, which is, the working title is called Utopia. And we have on the album, I've got a duet with Mike Lindup from Level 42. I've got a duet with Neville Staples from The Specials. We've done a reggae track. And we have a few special songs, on there, but they're done very differently. And it's very eclectic. And I'm doing this album because it's something that I wanted to give to the fans of Imagination. So it's a combination of an Imagination feel and a Leee John feel. And with this album, we're hoping to have, for the 30th or 33rd anniversary of Night Dubbing, which is one of our albums, we're going to have a re-edited version. So that's going to be on vinyl, like a special edited version. So I'm packing a lot in.
Yeah.
And then I've
can
got,
imagine
yes,
the work.
and then I'm touring. June, I'm touring with Kool and the Gang and Earth, Wind and Fire all through France.
Yeah.
Yes,
We're
I'm
gonna
doing,
ask,
yes,
so
I'm
you've got the
doing.
answer.
I'm doing all of that.
I saw it. When in France?
In June.
In June.
June,
Okay.
beginning of June to the ending of June.
In Bercy, I think.
All of Zenith.
Zenith.
Yeah, Zenith. It's doing
Paris.
Zenith in Paris, in Cannes, in Marseille, all over. And in ending of May, I'm doing Belgium. I'm here the 29th in Brussels with the Temptations. And the
Temptation.
Yeah,
Nice.
and Dennis Edwards, The Temptations, and a tribute to the Supremes. So I'll be there, and we may be going to Switzerland. So it's very busy.
The Supreme with the Diners?
No, Diana's in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I'm very good friends with Mary Wilson. She's a very good friend. When Mary comes to town, she always rings me. You know.
Really?
And I'm a big Supreme fan. I am a Supreme. You know, hey, God. You know. But Mary's great. We always have dinner, and when she comes to London, and she's a legend, you know. And you know, she's part of Motown, and so it was a privilege for me to be a friend with an original Supreme, you know. So, and she emailed me. She said, "Lee, you're like you're my international brother. Because every time I come to London, you're like a brother. You're always there for me. And when you're in America, I'm your sister. You know, so it's great. You know."
Okay.
Good. Yeah. The next question we had, because you answered for the others. You're known since the 80s more as an electro band till today. But I think that a lot of people don't know you as a jazz singer. And just before you mentioned about music, the different style you could be in. So can you explain that? And what we would like to know, if there's any chance for us to see you touring, I won't say in that kind of style you're playing.
In France, in Belgium.
Oh, yeah, we would like to know. Because
well,
I
have done. I actually did a live album. I did a live album at the New Morning. In the Morning in Paris. I actually did shows there at the New Morning in Paris with my quartet. I've actually done live jazz in Zurich and in Geneva and in Montreux. So I have done quite a few jazz shows. You have to go online and see when I'm doing it.
Montreux Jazz
But
Festival.
I've been, because my imagination, how should we say, legend is very well known. People gravitate a lot to that.
Exactly.
But what's been happening, especially I do certain shows maybe once or twice a year in England, jazz, people book up tickets and flights and they fly into London to see me do these shows. The last show I did just before Christmas, we had people from Spain, from France, from Italy, you know, from Greece, America, who flew in just to hear the jazz show. At the end, I do a kind of a broken down imagination sort of thing, but you know, the whole show is nearly 2.5 hours long, and I do quite a lot of songs from from Feel My Soul and you know other things. So, as I'm getting older, I just do what I feel, because I just want to have fun doing it. And to be honest with you, I've been more in a creative part of my life now, more than I was years ago, because with modern technology I can do things quicker. So it gives me that, you know, the access to do it. Except that I have to make sure that I have my health, because I wasn't too well recently. So that's the thing. And you know, that's, I think, for me, when I first started the industry, it was about having fun and enjoying it and performing. And the audience, to me, the audience is the most important fact. Not the agents, not the managers, it's the audience, which people forget, because they are the people that make you. They come back. Now I have great relationships on the internet, because the fans speak, we talk, we communicate, and they support you. You know, so for me, nowadays, a lot of people, they will put out their records, their albums, and the fans will buy them. They don't need the record company. You know, it's become that kind of thing. So if I decide, look, I'm doing a special jazz thing, or if I'm doing a funk thing, or what have you, tomorrow I go to Paris and I'm doing another thing with the Gibson brothers. We're doing a special album. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Felco?
Oh.
Yeah.
With Felco?
No.
with Gibson Brothers.
With Felco, no.
No.
Okay.
No.
Mais il en fait plus partie.
So in fact,
No.
you do what you want, what you like.
Yeah, I have no one saying you. Even with imagination, in the early days, it was not a question of we weren't like, say, the Boney M scenario where it was Frank Farian.
Yeah.
You know, if I was not involved in an imagination album, there was no album.
Yeah.
You know, because the fact was, I was writing all the time. So, you know, I remember one time we'd done the Body Talk album, the Heat and the Night album, we were doing the third album, Scandalous. I was so tired because we were touring and everything.
Yeah.
And the record company sent me on holiday to Marbella, which was the worst place to send me. It was very different then. And I was still not, I needed more rest, and they wanted me to write. And I remember writing one of our hits, I think, looking at me on the plane, coming back, because they were saying, oh, you have to come back with the song, you have to come back, you know. But there was a lot of pressure on me in those days, you know. It didn't start out as pressure, but as the years progressed, it was a lot more. And it became so much of the business. But you learn, you grow, and you then have choices. And what I found is that with the choices that I made, some good, some bad, but at the end of the day, I'm still very lucky that I'm still doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're right.
Tonight you will perform in Watre, okay? This is the last question. Will you put a title, another title than imagination? You will put, for example, a title from film I Saw.
You will have to come to the show tonight to see what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I never say, to be honest with you, until I'm going to go on stage, I'd say, okay, let's try. And I say to my engineer, da-da-da-da-da. So,
okay. We will come.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was thinking, because we're talking about jazz influence. What are your influence in this album? Because I've read that in 2005 you did an album called Film and Soul. And because I like jazz music, but I would like to know what are your influences today?
Well, when I was doing Feel My Soul, I actually loved jazz music since I was very, very young. So, for example, when I was, oh my God, I'll be saying my age now. When I was very, very young, I was in America, because I lived there for 5 years. My parents were split and I lived with my father. I was coming, just before I came back to the UK, Lady Sings the Blues came on the screen, and it had Diana Ross in it. Now, it's very strange because we were talking about the Supremes earlier. I knew the Supremes, but I didn't know Diana Ross. That was the thing. It was like two separate people. So when I saw Lady Sings the Blues, I thought, oh wow, Billie Holiday. Who's this Billie Holiday? So I rushed out. I was in not even my teens, 12, 13. I rushed out and I couldn't find the album. So I remember very well I bought Lady in Satin by Billie Holiday. She had a profile and ponytail, and it had a blue sort of cover. I remember very well. And I just played this album to death. I played this album to death. And because it had songs from the film that I'd seen. And then I bought the Diana Ross album, and then I saw the film. So I was really, and then I started to listen to Sarah Vaughan and Ella Fitzgerald and Duke Ellington and Count Basie. And then recently, only because after I did Feel My Soul, someone said to me, you should listen to Chet Baker, and I listened to Chet Baker very recently, and Dizzy Gillespie. And then before Feel My Soul, I actually did Feel My Soul. I was doing a lot of imagination shows. So I decided to immerse myself into all the different types of jazz, and blues. And I listened to Bessie Smith, I listened to John Coltrane. I started to read up about everything. And I just immersed myself and then threw it away. And then I listened to the music that I liked and then threw it away, cleared my mind, because it's like going to the university, and cleared my mind. And I said, right, now it's time to do what you want to do, but knowing the fundamentals of where it all comes from. I didn't know about Duke Ellington and Billie Holiday. I knew all about it, but I said, like, let me get back into it. Let me find out their hurt, their pain, and kind of bring it into my hurt, my pain, my experience, and how I can represent it. So like tracks on my album like You Never Know and The Thin Line, you know, where I'm talking about a man who's having a problem with his wife. You know, you get up with an angry head, the same as when you went to bed. You give me grief when I'm not on time. When it's you, everything is fine. There's a kind of a blues, hip-hop, R&B, but still sort of a jazz thing going on. And it's very acoustically done. And it's very real. And I wrote it, it came out just very naturally, like if I was talking to someone saying, look, you know, you. And I thought the listener could identify to that. So when I do an interpretation, for example, of Strange Fruit, it was my interpretation of what I envisaged of a hanging in the South. But then I took it to another extreme because I believe the world is like a tree and there's so many other people being hanged now, whether it's racism, whether it's, I mean, it's so apt, that Strange Fruit song. It could be readapted in so many different visual perspectives. So there's a hanging going on in Russia, there's a hanging going on in South Africa, there's a hanging going on in well, right now with all the problems we've had in Paris. That's what I call a hanging. So it could be used in all these different situations going on. So the South became the world. You know what I'm saying? Within how I was interpreting it. And then other songs I did like, the title track, Feel My Soul, Feel My Spirit. You know, we want to free, we want to just let it go. And it's got a fusion. Feel My Spirit, the actual track, is a fusion of jazz. So with Feel My Soul, the album, I kind of made it eclectic. And that's how I am now. So even with like the New Imagination album, and any kind of music I embrace now, it must have that eclecticness. So it's not, I'm not into so much one-dimensional. I don't like boring, I like different. You know, if it's too boring, hey, you know, sometimes boring is okay for a minute, but I like something different, you know. So, and it's very hard these days because people are recopying a lot of things. They're using analog sounds and they're thinking they're doing something. Someone played me a track today and he was like, and they thought, oh, listen to this, it's really good. I'm thinking, but I heard this before. I know the original, and I don't want to be, but when you know where it comes from, it's like, and you go to say, yeah, it's okay, but, you know.
You have to be careful.
There is one title from Imagination in the album.
Which one?
Just an illusion, I think. In the
You mean In the Heat of the Night album?
in Feel My Soul.
No.
Yeah, so,
No.
sure.
Not Feel My Soul. I didn't do any imagination. Sorry.
There is one title. Yeah.
No.
You want to bet?
I did the album, I know.
No, really.
He's got it.
No. I listened to the album.
Well, Feel My Soul.
Yeah, of course.
No, there's no.
It's you know it's a copy. You know, I think it's
No. No.
Yes, really.
No.
Yeah, I want to bet. Yes, ready.
£100.
100 pounds.
In
Sure.
sterling.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No problem. No
I've
problem.
got the album
You know,
upstairs.
it's a lot of euros. It's not. Maybe it's not the real album. You know. It's
Where
maybe-
did you hear this?
No, you kill me.
Yeah,
The
Feel
album.
My Soul.
Yeah, Feel My Soul.
Feel My Soul. Feel
You
My
know,
Spirit.
Yeah,
So-
and there is one title of Imagination in the album.
No.
Sure. Right?
No. I can tell you the album is Sensuality, Now Is the Time, Strange Fruit,
Yes, of course.
Lover, Thin Line, You Never Know, Jazzmatazz Funk, Someone to Watch Over Me. No.
Sure. I'm going to give you my keyback,
£100.
you know, because you're
£100.
going to pay me. Yeah, sure.
£100.
Yes, no problem.
£100.
Yes. No problem.
£100.
Yeah.
You
You can give me
I
100
produced my
pound
album,
now.
I know. Why didn't-
Of course.
Maybe it was not finished, you know, because
No.
it's not the album with, you know.
No, I gave you the whole album.
it's not possible because on the radio I played the song because I found it was a jazzy version, you know. Yes, it's sure.
No, I've done a live version of Illusion,
No.
jazzy, but never. No.
Maybe it's not just an illusion. Maybe it's another title. But
No,
sure,
I think you know what I think you're talking about. I'll tell you what you're talking about. You're talking about an EP,
yeah.
not Feel My Soul. There's an EP that has a version of Illusion. That's not Feel My Soul. That's got 4 songs and it's got the 21st century mix of Illusion. That's not Feel My Soul.
Absolutely.
C'est un EP,
No,
Yeah.
sure not.
Un maxi.
No,
It's an EP.
no.
You're wrong.
We'll see. We'll see.
You think I'm wrong?
I know my business.
Yeah, of course.
You stop it.
Okay. No problem.
Oui. He wanted to know, have you ever think of to ask and to bring your help with DJs like you heard of David Guetta?
I've done so much with DJs. I've really.
Yeah.
The very first hit we had. No, not the first hit. Yeah, actually, we had the support of a very big DJ in London called Steve Walsh. He had You What. It was big in. We've always had the DJ support, always.
Yeah.
From the 80s to 90s till now. I've always had that. What's the DJ in Paris? There's a very big DJ. I can't remember.
Bob Sinclair,
No.
Martin
Clamaran?
Solveig.
Clamaran?
No, he does a lot of mixes. David Morales did Instinctual, which is number 1. He's just done a new mix for me of Crash, new track. And we have many, Arthur Baker, Frankie Knuckles, he did a mix of changes, loads of, you know, production-wise, production, not mix that's like, shit, this is something really hot. No. I've done it with 2 tracks, completely different. And the tracks are very known, and they're not Illusion, they're not Music and Lights, and they're very different. That is what you call unique in the way we've done it. I worked with Jamiroquai's producers on those 2 tracks, but no. You know, if they want to do it, Dimitri did what he did, which is cool, but it doesn't fill me, it doesn't give me the hunger.
Yeah,
I want something
yeah.
new. I rather something
I can
new.
understand, yeah.
For me, it's boring when someone
Yeah.
says, "Oh, I want to do a mix-up." Yeah. For the new kids, the young kids, they discover it and they want to mix it. That's fine. I don't mind. They can mix it, but I don't get excited.
It was one of our questions.
Yeah.
If you could imagine that 34 years ago, that you could have this kind of a public.
They're
young
rediscovering
people
all the
still-
time.
Yeah, discovering.
I'm-
It's new.
All the time. Every year I get mixes. Every year. I guarantee you. You know, and I go, okay, it's cool, they play it. I have a mix of Flashback with Beyonce and me together.
Yeah.
A mashup.
Yeah,
I've got a mashup with me and Wyclef Jean, me and what's his name? Beyonce's husbands, 99 times.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. There's a Jay-Z mashup. Okay. So I've got there's so many. So it's fun.
Was
to
Michael
listen to.
Jackson? No.
Yes, Thriller. Not Thriller. Sorry. With Janet Jackson, the Scream.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not Scream. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's Music and Lights and Illusion. I have it with Imagination and Janet and together. So there's loads. There's loads of mashups. So where else is there to go?
Okay.
Yeah.
Many information.
Yeah.
We have to
didn't
check.
have to ask all the questions we had.
Yeah.
See, I'm aware of what happens 21st century wise. I'm not one of these artists that I didn't know. I kind of had people who give me a lot of information. So I try and keep up to date with what we have. Sometimes someone gives me something, oh my God, I didn't know that, you know. But I'm consumed with it. So then I can do all the other things because it's very different.
Okay. We can ask you another pleasure, please?
No. My
Okay,
voice
thank
is
you,
tired
David.
now.
Oh, please.
It's tired. Throat fatigue.
We just wanted to have a sort of jingle.
Write it down. Let me say. Hi, this is Leee John of Imagination. Leee John of Imagination. You're listening to Illusion.